All right, storyboards, whether you've seen them or not, you've been the beneficiary of them anytime you've ever watched a film. Kind of got credit for inventing these, whether they did or not. I don't know if you can see this as like a Star Wars storyboard, or here's a Harry Potter one. This one's from Soul. The Disney process, and they've touted this even before my lifetime, of, they might have a board like that with 50 pieces of paper, and it has their story. That's what we're gonna do with your entrepreneurial idea. Storyboarding was, if not developed by Disney, heavily used by Disney and made popular by Disney for when they create the story for a short film or even a movie. The storyboard that I like to use for entrepreneurship is a simple 3-part storyboard. What's the problem? What's your customer's kind of ordinary world look like while they're just dealing with the problem? They have some kind of solution for the problem, it's just not that great. And then you're gonna introduce your solution. All of a sudden they're introduced to your solution. This is the same framework that works for any story you're ever gonna tell. And then once finding that product market fit, starting to think about how do I scale this up in a way that I can really impact in a positive way more people, and start to build a business that can sustainably and consistently deliver that value.
So to put this in context, last week we covered the lean startup. And as you may recall in that discussion, there were 2 engines that Eric Ries defines. One is the value. So it's really making sure that what you're doing is valuable to customers. And the other is growth. So once you know it's valuable to customers, how do you grow it? So today we're focusing in on the first of those 2, which is the value engine, which is all about understanding customers' needs, wants, and that's where Sherry excels. I've never worked with anybody better in my entire career. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sherry.
He says that because I'm not in the room with him, because normally he would say, damn it, would you just shut up? Yeah,
I can't elbow you. Too far to elbow, unfortunately.
When Cindy Alvarez, who is one of the people who wrote the initial books called Lean Customer Development, she says it's the practice of finding customers first. So before you go forward with an idea and throw features after features out into the market, let's talk to these people. Let's talk to customers, understand their problems, see what they do, how do they behave, and what they'll pay to solve. Very important, because as we'll find is that people will say they have problems, but there's a difference between what problems they have and what they'll pay for. Tell yourself the truth about what you're hearing, and not be so overcome by your passion for an idea that you don't see what is right in front of you, which is what the customers, the people who would eventually purchase your product, are saying to you. So the goal, what I'm going to be asking you to look for, is evidence-driven insight. Are they willing to, maybe pay for this problem? How big of a problem is it? And then you validate what you have learned. The solution that we had in mind, or the idea we have in mind, isn't quite there. So how do we reframe it, right? This is where, I was saying you got to let go a little bit, because the idea that you start with may not be the idea that you end up with.
If they like it, keep doing it. If they don't like it, change something. Ask them questions. Learn. Scrap it if it's not working, start over, or if it is working, build on top of it, and then keep building in small iterations until it really starts to resonate with customers. The weekly build is about creating that first prototype. This is where it stops being theoretical as far as an idea. This is where we want to actually build a product that could work, even a little bit. This prototype, this MVP, might be a napkin sketch. And the napkin sketches are just those images that you can create to show someone what your business is about in that visual way. It might be a landing page website with a clickable link. It may be a physical minimum viable product. It might be something that's made on a 3D printer, or it might be a software app that's created with a no-code platform, or even an app modeler of some sort. Barry Litsky, who teaches at the Close School with me, reached out. She's teaching her grad class right now, and they're working on customer development. And one of the students said, I need some data to help with my customer development process. So I said, well, I have a group of students that are learning about customer development. How about we all see an example? I'm going to give you a blink at their product. And then what the QR code is going to give you a link to a survey. It will take just a couple of minutes to fill out. I'll have everybody fill it out. That'll give her some data, but it also gives you a really good example of like when you have a really early prototype idea. What I'm going to show you is Slideware. So she's come up with a concept, she's put it into slides, and then where customer development is, all of you are going to kind of look at it and give your feedback about it. But the idea is you create that first prototype and then iteratively develop that idea based on the customer input. What are some of the data points that help us to understand what makes one different, unique from another? So these are the kind of things when you're testing a product idea, ways that you can collect data like this. In this case, we helped out a student who was just doing an assignment, but I thought a good example for you to be able to see, like here's a way you can use survey data in that build, measure, learn loop. So you build a prototype, simple as it is, and literally what she showed you here, this was this Canvas slides, that was the product. Maybe it turns into an app one day, maybe it's an AI, whatever the delivery mechanism is. It's like, here's a basic product, let's collect some data, and then let's report in on it. What did we learn from it?